So here, what we're going to do, I'm going to present to you two of the tools we've been working on. And really, we're really trying to make simpler tools for you developers to take and use iExec while abstracting the complexity that is to be using confidential computing. We really want for you to have accessible tools that use languages that you already know and can be easily integrated into your app. For this, we have developed two tools. One is DataProtector and Web3Mail. DataProtector will be focusing more on the data side of things that we're going to use, whereas Web3Mail is more on the logic on what we do with that data. What we're going to do is that we're going to check the documentation together, check the sandbox that we have prepared for you, and also we're going to do a live demonstration so that you will understand better how it works. So DataProtector, it allows applications to use their data, computational data. So it could be a chain of characters, so it could be a file. And Web3Mail is going to use that email and is going to make an API call to a service to send an email. So we're going to go over through both of them, and I hope it's going to be clear for you. So the first one is DataProtector. I think you have these slides that have been sent to you. For this demonstration, you need to use your MetaMask, and for that, you also have to configure it to point to our sidechain. If you haven't done so, there is this chain list link that's going to be shared to you, and it allows you just on one click to configure it in your MetaMask account. So there are no more slides here because our documentation is so good that it speaks for itself. Shout out to our product team, the best team in iExec. So here's the documentation, and here is just a general overview of what we do. We're basically working with confidential computing to treat confidential data and monetize applications data. So let me just go over DataProtector first. What is DataProtector? What is Web3Mail? They are NPM packages that you can integrate into your desired framework if it's a front end, or you can also add it in your backend as long as it's supported by a pure ESM package. It consists of several methods that you're going to use to protect data. The cool thing about here is that if you go to the quick start, here's installation. It's pretty simple. You just install with your package, and then you instantiate the SDK. It's really just a couple of lines of code. Now, if you click here, there's a sandbox that you can access it, create a fork of it, modify it, and play around with the tool. So what it does is that we're talking about how do we protect our data or email. It's going to be based on two functions. One of them is called protect data, which is going to take an email address, and name to access this data. This will be shown better in our live demonstration. Just for now, just want you to know, okay, what does it do itself, the tool? It's going to take some data and it's going to protect it. And the second bit that I like is this function that is called grant access. And grant access, what it does, it's going to let you choose for the data that you just created. It's going to let you select an Ethereum address that is going to be allowed to use your data. The cool thing here is that there's this optional field when you grant access to your data that lets you set a price for this person to use it. Now, so far we just covered in general DataProtector. What it does, protects data and grants access to the data. The other methods are more to do, okay, how do I get my data? How do I get the access that I gave to other people? How do I revoke it? So all in that, in the what we want is to keep this governance. So you're allowed to say, I don't want this data to be shared anymore. So you have a full control over your data. Second tool that we're using is Web3Mail. And also we have prepared a sandbox that's going to allow you to come and check it out. You can modify the parameters. You can create a fork, even compete for the bounty that we're going to propose after. And this does mainly two things. One is going to fetch my contacts. And this method, what it does, is basically going to fetch all the addresses that have allowed me to contact them. This is done in the backend. Well, and technically speaking, is done through the graph, through managing orders, which is what we do at iExec. But it still is really made it in an easier way. So basically, you're just gonna get the list of people who have given you access to the data. The second one is the send email part, which is going to let you message this person by launching the execution of an iExec task. We'll go through that a little bit after. So for now, what you have to just as a wrap up is that Web3Mail just has two methods. One is, okay, whom have you given my access to, and then I contact them. Just to go over now the demonstration, how it really works. And so I'm gonna go through this. So this demonstration will also be sharing this link for you guys. And what I'm gonna do is first, I'm going to protect my data, which is calling the protect data function. I'm gonna select the type, which is an email address, and I'm gonna put my email address. I'm gonna call it my GMX. GMX, the email service, not the gambling platform. So what's happening here is that I'm going to create a confidential data that is going to be encrypted with a key, and then it's going to be existing a blockchain. So question, where is that data finally stored? Well, the data is stored publicly on IPFS, though it is encrypted. So who's able to access it? Well, that key, just signing here, that key that was used to encrypt the data is also shared into a key service that is running inside a dedicated hardware inside an enclave. So even if this key server is running, no one has access to it. So it's like a really secure database that cannot be accessed by anyone. It's running on its own. It's programmed to do what it's been programmed to do, and it's only going to do that. Cannot change it, cannot change the file system, cannot touch it. It's going to be protected there. And the only way to access it will be through cryptography and our smart contracts that are going to do all this matching and seeing who has access to what and so on. So far my data has been created. So if I come back here to my protected data, and I also invite you, if you are following this, to come here and click again on protect data and just put your email address. This is the part that is going to be protected, whereas the name of it is going to be public. So this is the email address that I just created here. And what I can do is I'm going to click on it, and I have some metadata about it. So who owns it? It's my account. It has its own address, corresponds to, in reality, it corresponds to an NFT. Would say it's a confidential NFT that can be rented through setting up orders and values and prices, which we cover in the grant access method. And then, so this is the metadata about this data. And so the cool thing is that I'm going to click here and I'm going to add a new contact. So I'm going to select someone else to be able to access this email that I just created, which was my GMX email address. So I'm going to go here into another screen with another account that I have here. And so I'm going to copy the address of this new account. So this would be person B. I'm going to let person B use my email once. Again, I'm signing here, and what we're creating is really an order of usage of my data. In this case, just gave it access for free. But remember that we covered here in the documentation that you can grant access and then set a price for this. So here we can see that I have allowed person B as my person who's is going to be accessing my data. So if I come back here, I'm going to go to my send email part of it. And it's going to fetch my contacts that we just saw before on the Web3Mail app. It's going to go and fetch my contacts. So I know, like, this address, I know it because I know it's mine. But what the person B sees is not going to be your email address on its own. They're only going to see your public Ethereum addresses and the protected data, which contains all the pointer to that confidential NFT. So right here, I have other people who have given me their access. So if you would like to, you're following this tutorial, just please, we're gonna share this address here, and you can share if you want. Put in chat this address, and so once you give access to my address, I'm gonna be able to see it, so you see it here. So what I do now here is that I'm able to contact person A without knowing their email address. So I'm going to click here on send Web3Mail, which is the method that we just saw, send email. And it's going to be composed of two parts, workshop, the subject, sorry, and the content of the email. So here, I'm just going to paste these links. Say, oh, thank you for coming. There's some links. Fine. And when I click send, there are two things that are happening here. There's going to be two signatures, three actually. One is going to be to encrypt the subject of the email, and it's going to be passed to this application, the logic that sends the actual email. One is going to be one for the subject of the email. One is going to be for the content. The third signature is going to be that I'm creating an order saying, well, I want this execution with these parameters at the price of 0 in this case. So I'm just launching a normal iExec execution. So I was just signature for the order, and now this is the transaction that is being launched. So right now, the app has been launched. It's going to fetch that email that was in IPFS in an encrypted way. It's going to fetch that email. It's going to bring it into dedicated hardware that is going to be running. And this application is coded to do one thing, which is send an email. So it looks really like this. This is the simplest iExec diagram that we've made so far. So it's going to have this logic that sends the email, make an API call. It's going to take that file. They're going to put them both into dedicated hardware, which is Intel SJX. And it's going to check some governance rules to say, okay, did person A allow person B to use their data, and for how much? Everything's all right. There's a deal. Everyone's happy. Then it's going to run it. So if you want to go further, well, it's just not that we're allowing you to protect emails, but protect any data. So you can think of another file that could be used. And also, same goes for the logic. It's not only to send emails, but you can also code on your own some custom logic for it to be doing something else with private data while preserving the governance of that person. So I'm going to go check my email now. Here. Even though I put it right, okay. And then I just received my email, and it comes from the sender address instead of person B, who never knew who I was in my as a receiver. So I'm just gonna go back. Well, if I try again, it's not going to work because I only set it to one use. So if I come back here, it's gonna fetch my contacts, and it's not gonna show up because it's already being consumed. I could send. I'm gonna do it at the end of the workshop. I'm gonna take all of them. I'm gonna copy paste it one by one. I'm just gonna probably put it in a loop and like send you all the addresses. So now this is how it works in general. Let me go back to the presentation. So that's really how it works. I mean, there's composed of several methods that you can use. Come and play around with it. Let us know what you think. If you think that it is useful, if you having problems while integrating it in a framework, like all of that is really welcome for us.